he's in and when he's out.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan's a really, really good football player, a tremendous competitor. I thought the first drive we moved the ball really well, and then when Garbs went down, then we gotta move on. And that's football. I mean, that's you can't make an excuse that we lost a player. That's just the way the game goes sometimes, and you have to have next man up mentality, and that's what we've done. We lost some players at some other positions tonight, and the other guy's got to go in the game, and that's what it is. But yes, Ethan is a really good football player.
Dante's in there. I know you believe in him, but he does have 2 interceptions and a fumble. Did you think of making a switch at any time?
Yeah, I thought of a lot of things, but we didn't do it.
Why did you not make a switch?
I just didn't think it. I just didn't think it was the right thing to do.
Coach, what do you say to fans after what might be perceived as a tough season for you guys?
Yeah,
especially the way it ended.
It was a tough season. I think we got one more opportunity, as I told the players in the locker room. They got one more opportunity to get this taste out of their mouths. And I don't know. We don't know where we're going to play or when we're going to play. We won't find that out till a week from tomorrow. But this group's got one more chance to send our seniors out the right way. And we knew coming into this we had one more bowl game, but that wasn't our plan. Our plan was to do it tonight, and we didn't. You give Cal credit; they did a really good job tonight. But it has been a tough season, and we got one more chance to show them what we can do.
Obviously, after Ethan went out, it just seemed like it was a snowball of some errors that kind of plagued you guys earlier this year,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be the field goals or some of the short yardage things. I mean, how tough is that to all just overcome all at once like that?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't, obviously, special teams today, had a kickoff return for a touchdown, fumbled the kickoff, the good hit, guy put his head on the ball, but we still have to hold on to the football. From a special team standpoint and an offensive standpoint, again, we moved the ball, but we didn't convert those into points. And I think we wasted a really good effort from our defense.
Hey, Coach, just wanted to know, is there any update on how Ethan is doing?
I don't have any. I just know he was unavailable and was not dressed for the second half, but I don't have any updates.
Okay, and you already spoke about special teams. What did you make of your defense tonight?
Again, I thought those guys, and they compete and they play hard. Snap in and snap out. There's a veteran leadership over there, with Darius and Latu and that group, and I thought they did some really good things, and we put them in some situations, offensively turning the ball over that wasn't advantageous to them, and we got to play 3 phases to win a football game, and you can't play one phase and not be great in the other 2 phases, and that's what happened tonight.
Defense gave up 124 rushing yards. Was Jaden Ott just very tough to contain, or was there something else that kind of broke down?
No, I think we left him on the field too much offensively and special teams wise, turning the ball over. I thought our guys, again, I think our defense played well, but we can't leave him out there as long as we left him out there, and that's what happens when you turn the ball over.
Coach, and you mentioned a lot too. What can that guy do? How special is he to you? And you coach a lot of great players.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think he ranks to when it comes to some of the great defensive players?
He's truly a special player that can do so many different things. You saw the interception that he made today. I think it's his second on the year. He had one earlier in the year against North Carolina Central. He can drop into coverage. He can obviously rush the passer. He's very tough to block at the point of attack. I think he's got an amazing skill set, and I think he's got a really bright future. He's going to play football on Sundays moving forward, and to see where he came from, because of the injury and having to sit out and not having football and having football taken away from him, and to see how hard he's worked to come back and put himself in a situation to be where he is. And I know he's a finalist for the Lombardi Award and the Lotto Award and things like that, and they're all very, very well deserved because he's truly a special player, and I hope he gets a shot at winning it.
You made it clear after the SC game that the administration was behind you, that that situation was solidified. Do you have any concerns that this, in the wake of losing 3 out of 4, 2 at home, is pretty big on two underdogs that came in here and beat you pretty handily, that changes the dynamic?
I don't worry about that. I don't worry about the dynamic. I know this team's 24-13 in the last 3 years, and they compete every single day, and I'm proud of every single kid in that locker room, and I think they represent this school the right way. So we understand where we are, and we understand that we have to win games, and I get that. That's part of the deal. But I don't think about those things. I don't worry about those things. That's never been my MO.
How would you evaluate the job you did this season?
We didn't do what we needed to do. You know, it's disappointing. Because I think in phases we've played really, really well. But we got to put it together. And in 5 games we didn't put it together.
Coach, 1 of 5 in the red zone today, had that 4th and 1 that got stuffed. Kind of seems to be a trend of the last few games. What's been difficult?
Well, I don't think it's a trend in the last few games because we were outstanding in the red zone a week ago. So.
Right. True. But with today 1 of 5.
Yeah, today we weren't good in the red zone. And we've talked about that. You know, I think there's if there was one thing, it would be easy. You know, it's that. So let's just change that. But it's different every single time. So it's not just one thing. If it's one thing, then you say, hey, it's because we ran the ball and we shouldn't have run the ball, we should have thrown the ball, and we did do both today. You know, so sometimes it's a protection issue, sometimes it's a route, sometimes the quarterback's not putting the ball where it needs to be put. It's a combination of things, and I think to be in rhythm, I think, is what we really need to do a better job of offensively. We were in rhythm last week offensively and did a really good job. This week we weren't in rhythm in the red zone, and that was the reason we weren't successful in the red zone.
Coach, earlier in the game, in the middle of the second half, there was a 4th and 14 where you guys didn't convert. You were inside of your enemy territory. I mean, talk about the way that play unfolded, and was it because you went for it because of the missed kick earlier, or was
we went for it because it was the score of the game. It was a 3-score game at that point in time. So field goals weren't going to help you at that point in time. We needed 7s or actually 8s in those situations. So it was either that or the other option was it was too far out for anything, and we would have just punted it back to them and given another possession. So that's why we went for it in that situation.
After a tough loss like today, how do you keep your team focused and prepared in preparation for the upcoming bowl game?
Yeah, they're going to get a little time off. You know, obviously it's been a long season. We've played 12 games, so they'll get some time off this week, and we'll get together towards the end of the week and get back out in the field. And then we won't find out again until next Sunday where we're going and when we're playing. So we have schedules built out based upon what game it is, just because we know the dates of those games. So then we'll start to work that, and then we have to also factor in finals because those are coming up. So we work our practice schedule around that.
Thanks, Coach.
Last time I asked you about disconcerting signals, I think your answer was you didn't really know what it was. Have you figured out what that is yet? Because it's the 3rd time that's happened.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you what the referees tell us before the game, so I'm as disconcerted as it. And when we talk to the head of the league officials, and he explains it to us, what's been done in games is not what the head of the league officials has explained to us. So I don't know what to say.
Well, what did they explain to you?
I can't get into the officials because you get fined. So.
But the essence of it that you're interfering with their snap count.
Yeah, and their snap count is a clap. So, and we're not clapping. So it is what it is. You know, I don't understand it, and we've talked to the officials on numerous occasions. We talked to the officials before the game about it, you know, and so defenses are allowed to move by rule, but sometimes, I guess when we move, I don't know. I don't have an answer, and the answers that I've gotten from the league office do not jive with what's gone on in the games.
Coach, 6 sacks by Cal's defense tonight. How much of that, and most of those, if not all, on Dante, how much of that is the offensive line struggling, and how much of that is just a young quarterback?
I think it's a combination. You know, again, it's like I said earlier, if there was one thing you would say, let's do that. You know, there was the one right at the end of the first half, you know, he barely got the ball in his hands, you know, so, you know, it's not one particular thing. If it is, then you can make that adjustment. You know, it was a combination.
And I know you've talked a lot about Dante's ability to bounce back from turnovers and whatnot. What did you see from him tonight, just in terms of bouncing back from a couple interceptions?
Yeah, Dante competes, you know, and that's a great quality that he has. He's still a young quarterback. He hasn't gotten a lot of reps because Ethan has played well, you know, and then he was hurt. You know, he played a little bit in the Arizona game, then was out, didn't practice that week. So Colin played the Arizona State game, you know, and really could have been used just in emergency situations in that game, but didn't practice that week. So he's been in and out of practice and in games. So you know, I wish we could get him more reps, but when you're preparing the other guy, that part's difficult. So it's just part of it. You know, but if you lose your quarterback, you got to move on to the next quarterback, and that's what we did today.
You've been pretty candid in some of the previous losses this year about whether it's been a lack of preparation or just execution. What would you, I guess, chalk tonight up to?
Execution. This team prepares. I mean, they're awesome in how they prepare and what they do in practice, and but we didn't execute, and we didn't at times. You know, and it's. I think you said it earlier, not today. It just kind of snowballed on you. You know what I mean? You get a kickoff return, you know, for a touchdown after we go down the field and score. You know, to give yourself to go up. You know, and it's just, you know, it's a combination of different things. You wish you could put your finger on it, but I would say execution to answer your question.
7 against Arizona State at home, and then 7 today. What is the message to the offense? You know, using
that we got to be better in the red zone. You know, we in both games we moved the football, but when we got down in the red zone, we didn't convert those into points. And you can't be good between the 20s just moving the football. You don't get credit for yardage gained. You get credit for points scored. And we have to be more efficient in the red zone. We were last week, and I think that was a difference in the ballgame. And this week we weren't.
Not sure when we'll talk to you next. What are the transfer portal's opening soon? Can you tell us what your priorities will be there?
We'll meet with our players this week. The portal opens, I think, on the 4th, which is the following week. So we'll have player meetings this week and, you know exactly where we are. We had some kids that walked today on senior day, but they have an opportunity to come back. You know, those are discussions that will be had with those guys just to kind of see where your roster is, so you know where you are moving forward. So until we have all those meetings this week with our guys, we couldn't tell you exactly, you know, because if a kid's coming back, then obviously you don't have a scholarship to go out and get somebody from that standpoint.
And then Dan Lynn's done a really good job this year. Any thoughts on your part to tear up his contract to give him something new to keep other suitors away because you want to keep him?
Yeah, we definitely would love to keep Dan here. I'm not in charge of tearing anybody's contracts up, so it's not in my realm, but I know, and I know our administration knows how valuable Dan is to us. And, he's done a tremendous job, and he's a really, really good football coach. And he's probably a better person than he is a football coach, and he's a really good football coach. So we'd love to keep Dan around here.
Chip, you've been pretty eloquent at times throughout the year about the dissolution of the Pac-12, the last game, being a part of it. Just, is there any sense of melancholy or sadness that this league is being scattered into 4 wins?
Yeah, melancholy is not what I'm thinking about right now, so I'd like to wax eloquent about the demise of the Pac-12, but that's not on my mind right now. So.
Thank you.